And if you do, should we not be able to point very clearly to the things that brought about this debt in the first place? Because we know the two incidences in which Kenya can borrow, according to the Constitution, the bigger one here being for development. Should we not be able to see for each shilling that has been borrowed, this is the project that it went to, speaking also to a public debt register?
Wow, quite litany of questions that you've thrown at me. Let me take a dig at them. So the issue is growth, ultimately, the 10% growth. And this is also the growth that was envisaged under the current Vision 2030, that each and every year we need to be growing at a real GDP growth rate of 10%. By that I mean, we have, say, this economy at 18%. So 18%, that is now what you call the nominal GDP. That's the overall GDP as it is, the market pricing. But we tend now to look at 18 trillion in 2026. And then we have a base year, 2016 thereabout. So 18 trillion in 2026. What was its equivalent GDP in 2016? And that's what is normally used for comparison and for generating what we call real GDP numbers. But ultimately, we need to be at least 10%. That was the Vision 2030. So the prof who spoke, or this Vision 2060 is still a guideline. We don't have the estimates. We don't have solid numbers at this point. But if you can take that as a guide, it's still that we are still retaining the 10% real GDP numbers that we had for the current, in Vision 2030, sort of retaining it even going forward. But what does that mean? It means that if you look at it, if you can grow a nominal, so real GDP, and then you add the inflation, gives you a nominal GDP. That's just a good thumb of rule for you to get nominal GDP growth. So for us, 18%, so probably we need to grow at 15% in nominal GDP growth year in, year out to be able to generate 10% real GDP growth.
And what is it right now?
Right now it's around 8%. It's been coming lower. At some point, 2-3 years ago, it was 12%, but it is grinding lower in nominal GDP terms. But that, if you can be able to generate at least 15% nominal GDP growth, just rough numbers, 10% real GDP, and then the 5% inflation, which is the target, at least it can comfortably, you can now be able to comfortably grow your economy. And also at the same time, remember that there's the revenue numbers are pegged on nominal GDP growth. So if you can grow 15% nominal, so that means that even your revenue is growing at that rate, nominal 15% growth rate, as opposed to the 10% real GDP. So that means that you cannot be able to achieve fiscal consolidation, because your tax revenue is growing, your non-tax revenue is growing. A bit of this appropriation in aid revenue is also growing because the nominal GDP numbers are quite good. So you can lean away from the debt issue. The other aspect that you asked was touching on whether we can pin any project that has been funded by debt. So if we'd asked this question 50 years ago, that could have been possible, because then we had largely the multilateral debt, the World Banks coming in to finance the projects. So the loans were specific, were targeted. Some of these housing projects that were done in Eastlands, they were from debt, not from tax revenue. The roads that have been built, in fact, I was home the other day. My home county is Siaya County. So I was being shown that one of the major roads that plies between Kisumu all the way to Busia is a road that was built in 1950s. So if we can go to external debt register that was there even 10 years, you can be able to see that project, because this projects were being financed for long term, 40, 50 years. So there's a higher chance that I can be able to pinpoint that project within the external debt register 10 years, 20 years ago. So, but right now, because of the mix of, we have the domestic debt, which is not pegged to specific projects. So the combination of debt accumulation has now we've moved away from the multilateral financing that was there 40, 50 years ago. And now we've onboarded also we have the domestic borrowing, treasury bills, treasury bonds. We also do have the Euro bonds. We also have, within the multilateral financing, we have what we call budget support, the IMF financing, the World Bank, what you call development policy operation. They are not pegged to specific projects as such, or something that you can now be able to say, but these are now conditions that the government needs to meet before